All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really personal story, a kind of blueprint really for getting a handle on artificial intelligence. The whole thing comes from someone who went from feeling, kind of overwhelmed by all the big questions AI brings up to building a real, solid, professional edge. Let's see how they did it. So let's start with this one sentence, because it really is the core idea that kicks everything off. The perspective here is that we're not just playing with a new gadget, we are living through a massive, world-changing moment. Think about it, kind of like the Industrial Revolution or when the internet first hit. And when you realize you're in the middle of something that big, well, that means you've got some serious challenges to face. Okay, so when you're facing a shift that big, it naturally brings up some really deep questions. And these questions get right to the heart of our value, not just at work, but as people. And here they are, the two big ones. First, the practical question. Can I actually learn this stuff and use it well? But then there's the second one, which is way bigger. How do I stay relevant? How do I stay human when AI can do what I do, but maybe even better? According to our source, seriously tackling these two questions is what separates a real strategy from just, messing around with a new toy. So you've got these huge, kind of scary questions. What do you do? Well, our guy here didn't just sit back and wait to see what would happen. His response wasn't to think about it, it was to do something. It was a philosophy of action. And this, right here, is the key shift in mindset. Instead of getting paralyzed trying to predict a future that nobody can really predict, the whole philosophy is jump in and become an active participant. To learn by doing, by trying things out, and carving out your own path with these new tools. All right, so let's get practical. How does that philosophy actually turn into something you can use? Well, that's where the toolkit comes in. This is where you stop thinking and start building, putting together a set of tools to help you learn and work smarter. And check this out. This table shows exactly what that looks like in practice. And notice how specific this is. It's not just use AI. It's using Gemini to structure documents before you even start studying. It's using chatbots for quizzes to make sure you're actually learning. The point isn't to let AI do the thinking for you. No, it's about strategically getting rid of the grunt work so you have more time to focus on the big ideas that really matter. Okay, so you've built this awesome toolkit. That's great. But does it actually work in the real world? Under pressure, when you're working with other people? That's the real test, right? Let's see. So our source gives us two perfect examples where this toolkit got put to the test. First, a super high-pressure team hackathon, and then something totally different, a much more complex, long-haul film project. Two very different situations, but they both show this proactive approach to using AI in action. And this is what's so cool about this example, the sheer ownership. For a school film project, he didn't just use a tool here and there. No, he literally created a new role for himself, AI tech lead. He looked at the whole process from beginning to end and figured out where AI could help. Then he actually introduced the tools and led the team in using them. He totally transformed their workflow. And this is huge because it proves the whole thing wasn't just for his own benefit. By proactively sharing these tools during a hackathon, his knowledge became what you'd call a force multiplier. It lifted the whole team up. His advantage became the team's advantage. That's powerful. So after all that work, all that real-world testing, what's the takeaway? It's not just a list of new skills. It's something bigger, what he calls a core strength, both personally and professionally. And here it is. This is pretty much the secret sauce. The advantage isn't a destination, it's a process. It's this idea of continuous learning. And the key words here are actively testing and integrating. It's not about reading an article. It's about doing. It's about being hands-on. And these are the actual habits that make it all happen. See, it's a system. You're tracking what's new, you're personally testing out the promising stuff, and this is the most important part. If a tool proves it's useful, you plug it into your workflow immediately. It's not random, it's deliberate. And this is where it all leads. This isn't just hoping or guessing. It's a statement of confidence, backed up by direct experience. The ability to use AI effectively isn't just a party trick anymore. It's a genuine, provable core strength. So really, this whole story is a kind of blueprint. It shows you a path from feeling overwhelmed by AI's big questions to actually building a real advantage with it. It proves AI can be this incredible partner, which really just leaves one last question for you to think about. How are you going to use it to amplify your own strengths?